So, box office top 10 at 47, Hellraiser, 4K, a restoration.
I mean, I love Hellraiser. Hellraiser has a very special place in my heart because when it first came out, I had come to the end of a relationship that had not ended well. And one of the things that you do when you come to the end of a long relationship that's not ended well is you try and find all the bits of yourself that you put away in order to make the relationship work well. But now that's all failed. You go, and for me, it was like, oh, I can have my horror back. And I remember going out to the Salford Quays to watch Hellraiser, Clive Barker's Hellraiser, which he directed. It's based on a story by him, Hellbound Heart, which introduces us to Doug Bradley and the Cenobites. And it is twisted and pervy and strange and absolutely cutting edge, new face of horror back then, which I'd been doing my PhD about, and I think it still stands up to this day.
And all was well with the world.
And all was well with the world. And the funniest thing about it is when they were filming the film, they've shot it in London, and then halfway through, somebody said, we should make this in America. So they just dubbed some of the characters and gave somebody an American policeman's hat, but it's clearly London.
Number 24, Angel-Headed Hipster, the songs of Mark Bolan and T-Rex.
I think there is still a definitive Bolan documentary to be made because this is much more actually an account of making this album in which people record Mark Bolan songs. And I am very firmly of the opinion that the thing about Bolan songs is it's the way Bolan performed them rather than the songs.
Number 23 is The Lesson, which is a little low.
Yes, I imagine it was a limited with 206 cinemas. I like this very much. The director was on the show last week, Alice Troughton. Troughton?
Yes.
I keep wanting to say Troughton. And I think it's a great performance by Richard E. Grant. I think, back on the form that he was in with Can You Ever Forgive Me? I really like it. Sort of twisty whodunit, but the it is not a murder.
Florian Fisher says, Dear Larry and Michael, I've watched and rather enjoyed The Lesson this afternoon at Crouch End's Art House. It's beautifully acted, competently directed and paced, sufficiently twisted, and a welcome addition to the genre of that sort of simmering mystery. Daryl McCormack's likability is key, and while we may not entirely trust him, we certainly don't, we identify more with him than any of the three Sinclair family, all of whom are also portrayed excellently. Only the film also reminded me of some nastier cousins, so it led me to this one minor criticism. I wish Alice Troughton and indeed Waller-Bridge, whose soundtrack is excellent but a bit farce-adjacent, had lent more into the creepy side of the premise. Like when Claude Chabrol did Ruth Rendell or when Ozon made The Swimming Pool. It didn't need to be turned up to 11 on deceit, desire and alluring coldness, but it felt like it stayed on a safe 6 or 7. It could have very easily been sexier, chillier and meaner with just a few little adjustments. Still recommending it to my friends, especially because of the acting. Found it a lovely first movie by an experienced TV director. Be bolder next time, Alice, says Florian Fisher.
Okay, I'm surprised. I mean, I thought the score was terrific. I am surprised here. But I mean, thank you. You've kind of expressed it very well, but I didn't share those reservations about the score at all.
Number 10 in the UK, Beauty and the Beast
in
from
3D.
1991.
But in 3D.
Okay. Any good?
Was Beauty and the Beast, but then they just did a post-production 3D on it.
Number 9 in this country, 13 in the States, Jawan.
As we said, not press screen, but now in its third week, having done very well in its opening week, probably not with us again next week.
Oppenheimer is at number 8, number 10 in the States.
Now the most successful biopic of all time, outstripping Bohemian Rhapsody, which held the record until just a few weeks ago, and one of Nolan's most successful movies, which is remarkable when you consider it's a 3-hour movie about the invention of the atomic bomb and the subsequent fallout, no pun intended, politically. It's a film which is, it's not a big action drama, and it's not filled with sympathetic characters, but it has done absolutely astonishing box office.
Number 7 in the UK is Past Lives, Jamie Scott in Birmingham. In late August, my wife Gabby gave birth to our first son.
Congratulations.
Julius. Being handed a tiny, naked, crying boy you've never met before and told you need to keep him alive from now on is a life-changing moment. Not to be sidetracked from occasional cinema trips, however, we 3 made a visit to the Everyman Cinema in Birmingham on Tuesday morning for the baby and parent screening of Past Lives provoked by your fulsome review. I look forward to the day when I tell Julius to his bemusement that his first film was an understated Korean immigrant drama, even if he did sleep through almost all of it. The film was excellent. What I really enjoyed, however, was the baby and parent experience itself. A mourning audience of prams and smiling mothers and well-behaved newborns, all eager to retain the communal artistic joy that is cinema. No one minded if either parent or child needed a toilet break. It was, to be honest, one of the better-behaved movie audiences I've experienced. So hats off to the everyman and all baby and parent screenings everywhere. Long may they reign. I must say, in terms of cinema doing what it has to do to survive, these are fantastic inventions which weren't around when Child 1 and Child 2
absolutely great.
Were getting stuck into whatever they were getting stuck into. But there's not only... So imagine, Jamie Scott in Birmingham and his other half would have missed this film completely because they definitely won't be going to the cinema. And what a treat to go and see Past Lives.
And it's really good that it's there in the top 10 in its third week, in number 7. I do think that it's a remarkable piece of work. If you haven't listened to the Celine Song interview yet, please do, because it's on a podcast from a couple of weeks ago. She's so articulate. She speaks so eloquently about cinema as if she's been marinated in it all her life. And of course she hasn't. She comes from theatre. And yet she said in the interview that when she started working in film, it was like she discovered her true love. And, aren't we all delighted that she has, because it's such a great film.
And Alice Troughton, when she came in, was very excited to hear Celine's song. So they were all getting excited.
Please do go and see The Lesson. I'm surprised that it's not higher up the chart than that, because I think it's a really terrific film. I mean, it is a relatively limited release in terms of its number of screens, but I think it deserves to be seen by more people than that.
Barbie is at number 6, number 5 in the States.
I mean, just staggeringly successful, and I'm really, really glad. I think it was great fun. When I left the Observer, when I left doing the weekly column on the Observer, which Wendy Ide has now taken over, I had to write a thing about the 10 years that I've been doing it, and I said, one of the things is that Barbie first film helmed solely by a woman to have crossed the billion mark, and that's you have to see that you have to be pretty cynical not to see that as some kind of progress. And somebody went, "Why do we have to look thinking? It is not a very good film." And I went, "Yeah," and my point is proven.
What?
Never go below the line.
Well, but you always do.
Oh, no, I don't always, because
these are comments below the line.
I got them to stop doing the comments below the line of the Observer, because I said, why? It's just like, it's like sticking a stick down the loo and then waving it in the air. What's the point?
Yeah. So that was below the line.
It was. They did it again on my very last column because they knew that I was leaving.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Dumb Money is at 5, number 8 in the States.
Well, I liked it. You liked it.
Yes.
Child 2. I
suggested to Child 2 that she go and see it, and she was very excited and loved it.
And she sent you a photograph of her going into the cinema.
Yeah, with a photograph of her ticket, saying, I'm taking you up on your word. Anyway, I was relieved to know, that I can still get a sense of something that she will like, and indeed she did. So,
yes. And we will have the director on later on in just a short while,
very, very shortly. So more Dumb Money in a moment.
Go on now. Do your football scores joke.
UK 4, The Equalizer 3.
No, not that. Equalizer 3, Nun 2.
Well, I haven't got to that yet.
No, but that was what you did last time.
I've got.
It's not UK 4, Equalizer 3. It's Equalizer 3, Nun 2.
Yes, but I'm doing it slightly differently by incorporating its chart position as UK 4, The Equalizer 3.
Okay, but that's not as funny.
I think it's just as funny. And also US 4. So UK 4, US 4, Equalizer 3. That sounds like the shipping forecast. The Equalizer 3 diminishing, turning anti-clockwise.
Becoming better later.
Yes. With a chance of squalls. Anyway.
What is a squall?
It's a
sea storm.
It's a little draft, I think.
It's a little draft.
Equalizer.
Have you seen that Ridley Scott film, White Squall? If that's not a little draft.
Equalizer 3 is at 4, and Nun 2 is at 3.
Is it 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're confused now.
Okay. I think we've killed that joke stone dead. I mean, the Nun 2, the Equalizer 3 is fine. Nun 2 is absolute pants. But there we go. It's absolute pants that will draw them in, because it's exactly what everybody thinks it's going to be.
Expendables Is
Spend four balls.
It's number
It's
two
not
here,
spend a
and
four-
it's number two in America.
Okay, absolute rubbish. Witless, charmless, action sequences which are stabby shooty blowy up, but you're not sure who is stabby shooting who or what is blowing up. It has, as I mentioned before, Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham swapping quips in its opening moment. And it is really the most clumsy, awful. I mean, I love Jason Statham, but there's some things that Jason Statham does very well, and there are some things that he does less well. And in this, it's all the things that he does less well, and it's boring, and it makes no sense.
But it is making money.
Yes,
so therefore...
but it will. I think it'll be brief.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's at number two.
But it didn't unseat
the number one movie, which is
Haunting in Venice,
which
has done very, very well.
Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. While you're here, check out all the other videos because they're cool too, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you want to keep up to date with everything Kermode and Mayo's take, then check out our social channels.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean, I would. I have done.
Excellent.